It's all right, Captain. This planet seems to be uninhabited. Well, mostly uninhabited. There might be some rodents of unusual size, but don't worry, I can handle it. Wait a minute. Hang on, Captain, I'll call you back. Just wait a second. Shit. Good news! The Gorn made me their queen! Turns out red is the color of royalty in the Gorn homeworld. Who knew? Yeah. You guys know I'm a geek. And geeks like Star Trek. Sorry if you're a Star Wars fan. But you probably clicked on this video because it said Star Trek. So, we're gonna talk about the latest Star Trek movie. Now you know what's coming. Spoilers! So, I'm gonna give you a few seconds to click away before I start spouting every single spoiler I can think of. Okay? You gone? If you're still here, it's your own fault now. Alright, let's talk about that new movie. I saw it last night, and I I'm conflicted about it. Okay, let's just start in no real order or thought, plan, process talking about this movie because I can. So, at the beginning of the movie, let's just start at the beginning. The beginning of the movie has our heroes heroically trying to save these indigenous peoples, and Spock is like all up in a volcano trying to stop it from erupting, and Kirk and McCoy are like trying to save this village by running with a scroll, I guess is the thing that they do, and the Enterprise is hidden underwater, and it's like, oh man, and they're like, don't let the indigenous people see the Enterprise because Prime Directive, and I'm like, well, now see, that is good. I was like, somebody's finally using the Prime Directive correctly. They're helping save a planet. They're just not going to take credit for it. You know, they're just not going to let the people see them, although how did they get into the ocean without... Never mind. I was like, this is how the Prime Directive should be used. And then it turns out that it was all a lie and they totally disobeyed the Prime Directive anyway. I mean, they did end up showing the Enterprise to the people and they started worshipping it. But even before that, they were in violation of the Prime Directive just by going to that planet and trying to save them. And I'm like, nope. We're back in crazy Prime Directive land. Oh, mighty Prime Directive, how may we serve you? So, there's multiple Kirks and multiple Spocks, so I'm gonna refer to the more modern Kirk just as Kirk, and the original series Kirk as Kirk Prime, and Spock Prime, so forth like that, just to avoid confusion. So Kirk, in this one, because Kirk Prime, in the original series, the man that was that James C. Kirk, was a highly experienced, highly trained professional. And the fact that he had a penchant for disobeying the rules went along with his training and his discipline. So he had like levels to him. This Kirk has none of that. He has just academy training that he kind of breezed through, and he's just riding on machismo and hotness. So he obviously, which I thought they did well, he obviously kind of fails a lot. Because he just does not have the life experiences that Kirk Prime had in his time in the chair. So that our Kirk, he just, he gets the Enterprise taken away from him like right away after that big fiasco with the white alien people. And I was like, oh, good, this is what it should be. This Kirk is making mistakes, he is not Kirk Prime, he does not have the experience, and yeah, good. But then it was all just to mess with you because he got the Enterprise back like right away. I thought maybe the movie was going to be about him having to fight to get his ship, like really earn it, because he never earned it. In the first movie he didn't earn it, in this movie he doesn't earn it. He just kind of gets lucked into the Enterprise, It bothers me a little bit. But, alternate universe, what are you going to do? Gotta roll with it. This movie had lots of cliffhangers in it, and that made me happy because I like cliffhangers. I like to be on the edge of my seat all the time and be like, what's next, what's next, what's that over there? Does anyone else notice that Kirk was acting like Archer from the TV show Enterprise? He was like, never trust a Vulcan. We must not speak of Archer. I just got chills just thinking about him. However, it is really interesting to see the epic bromance of Kirk and Spock before it is an epic bromance. Because in the original series, they're already buds. You don't get to see that occurring. So it's cool to see them having to become friends and forge that, the most epic of all bromances. There was a lot of, every character got their moment to shine, which I loved. Sulu got to show his potential as a commander, which was amazing. I was like, oh yeah, Sulu's got this. Chekhov, they didn't really know what to do with him, I think, so they just made him go to engineering and be adorable. Scotty got to do cool stuff. Everybody got to do cool stuff. And then we had Action Uhura, which I am gonna admit I didn't really like. Which is weird from me, because you know me, I'm like, give the woman a gun or a sword or whatever and point her at the bad guy. But I think with the character of Uhura, her strength was never in her ability to fight. It was always in the ability to use her mind, to deal with the situation, to be smarter than most of the people around her. And like at one point she's like, you brought me here to speak Klingon, let me talk to these Klingons, these angry Klingons. And I was like, yes, this is what Uhura does. She is going to save the day through using her mind, and then the Klingons just like attacked anyway. And I was like, well, okay, just let her not be successful at the one thing that she really should be good at. Just have Action Uhura instead, because everybody's an action person in this movie. That bothered me. I'm like, they just completely have taken the role of Uhura and gone somewhere else with it. Which, again, alternate universe, I can't complain, but they did try to get the personalities of everyone else, their base core personalities, very close to the original series base core personalities. So why the hell is Uhura so different? I did love the new Klingon ships, the way that they like move their wings and everything. I was like, that's awesome. I'm not sure about the redesign of the Klingons. I mean, I know it's an alternate universe, but did they really need a redesign? Just on a logical, making movies level, why did we redesign the Klingons? Okay. Now, we get to the real crux of my love-hate relationship with this movie. Kirk Prime, would you please? Thank you, sir. Yeah. I love Benedict Cumberbatch, who is the gentleman who played Khan. And if you don't know who that is, I weep for you. Go watch BBC's Sherlock and come back. Good. Benedict Cumberbatch is an amazing actor, and he makes an amazing villain. But I am upset that they made him Khan. Not that he can't pull off a great foil to Kirk, but they went, again, they're always going out of their way in these movies to have people that look like the original series actors. People that can do the lame accents, that can behave in the way that the original series actors can. And they got a guy to play Khan who has nothing in common with Khan except for that they have the same kind of like underlying motivation. And I was like, why? Why couldn't he just be a new bad guy? Why is he Khan? We are not to Wrath of Khan point, people, with these new movies, and it showed. Because, I mean, he was amazing. Benedict was amazing. But I'm just going to come out and say he should not have been Khan. He should have been some other villain. In fact, I'll tell you who he should have been. He should have been the Romulan commander from Balance of Terror, the original series episode. Go watch it, it's on Netflix. He would have been amazing. And there could have been all kinds of great stuff with him as another foil to Kirk, because they are both warriors that use their mind and figure things out, but of course they used Romulans in the last movie, so they couldn't use Romulans again. But Benedict would have been perfect for that role. It would have been amazing.
In a different reality, I could have called you friend.
And it would have been a much smaller baddie to take than the super iconic, the most iconic probably Star Trek villain ever. And you brought him into your little new modern movie. It's like, what are you doing, J.J. Abrams? What was this? Writers. And this, of course, brings me, because now, of course, all of us Trek fans are going to be comparing what the people creating this movie have created sort of a pitfall for themselves, because people like me who really love the original series are going to be comparing it constantly and going, original was better, because original is always better. Somebody's done it before. If someone's done it before and it was great, it's not broke, don't fix it, you know? It's like, we didn't need a reboot of The Wrath of Khan. It was good. It's fine. And people who didn't see The Wrath of Khan are like, oh, that's most clever. And then we're like, no, go watch the first one because it's better. It's that argument, you know, go read the book because it's better. And it just, it bothers me. We didn't need another Wrath of Khan. We already had Wrath of Khan. And of course, that brings me to the comparison between the final epic moment in Wrath of Khan where Spock sacrifices his life. Oh, spoiler, by the way. Spock sacrifices his life to save the Enterprise by going into that radiation-contaminated chamber and, like, putting on the oven mitts of the day saving and putting a thing in a place. You know what it is. You've seen it. I'm gonna assume that you're classy enough to have seen it. You seem like the type. You've seen Wrath of Khan. And then Kirk, you know, rushes down there and they're having that moment. And you know what? Let's just watch a little bit of it so you can see. Just to make sure you know what is up.
Spock! Ship. Out of danger?
Yes.
Don't grieve, Admiral. It's logical. The needs of the many outweigh
The needs of the few.
or the one.
See, am I right? And those of us who have seen it, when we saw it the first time, we saw it the second, third, whatever, however many times, we're just bawling because Spock is dying and he's dead. And at the end of this movie, they put him in a torpedo tube and they shoot his ass into space. And at the time that the movie was made, nobody knew that he was coming back. Leonard Nimoy did not even know that Spock was coming back. So Spock was dead. And a nation of geeks wept, and Kirk was devastated, and there was no coming back from this. I mean, there was, but at the time we didn't know that. And in this movie, the stakes of that moment were not stakey at all. It was like, he's gonna use the blood. He's gonna use Khan's blood. Hurry up and get to the Khan's blood. Oh, there it is. There you go. Yeah. And they're saying the lines, they're kind of rearranging the lines from Wrath of Khan and, like, you know, the ship out of danger, that whole thing, and they're touching the glass with the live long and prosper, and then the greatest line of Wrath of Khan, other than the screaming of Khan.
I have been, and always shall be, your friend.
And that just rips your heart and throws it over there and stomps on it. You know, because you're just like, oh my gosh. And in this movie, they give you a little replacement for it, which is just sort of an offhanded, you know, like, we're friends now. There's no I have been and always shall be. Because these two characters are not ready for a Wrath of Khan. That's my thing. These guys are too new, they're too green, they're too undeveloped. if you're gonna remake Wrath of Khan, you failed at it. Like, as a movie as a whole, I really enjoyed Into Darkness. And I love Benedict. He was a good Khan. If anybody was gonna play Khan, he could pull it off, definitely. That brings me to yet another point. I'm getting tangenty. I'll try to keep it brief. If you're gonna have Benedict as Khan, this is an alternate universe. I was totally expecting them to go, you know what, in this universe, Khan is your friend and the Federation is evil. I mean, the Federation was a little bit evil, but it was kind of just one guy. And so, like, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be it. And Spock Prime is like, don't trust him, and Kirk's working with him, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna find out that we can trust him, and Khan is gonna be our sort of uneasy ally in this dimension. No, he's just evil. Oh, for fuck's sake, don't do anything original with this, for heaven's sake, except make him a white British man. So yeah, a love-hate relationship with this movie. I really loved some stuff. Zachary Quinto was acting so intensely that I think he singed my eyebrows off. Especially, my favorite scene is the one where they're all in that little shuttle going to the Klingon planet, and he's talking about how death affects him and his emotions, and I was like, best scene in the movie. Oh my gosh. And then it just kind of went downhill from there. But it was... the actors were trying their best, and they were having fun, and there were great funny lines and a lot of awesome action, because you know I like explosions. But then they tried to make it be the Wrath of Khan, and it went... little mushroom cloud happened. Yeah. So those are my thoughts. I hope there are going to be more Star Trek movies. I mean, even if I'm not thrilled about some of the choices they make, Star Trek deserves to continue. So I hope that there are going to be more Star Trek movies and that they're going to be good. And they've already redone the Wrath of Khan, so like where's there to go, I have no idea. But I'm looking forward to it, wherever it is. Now, if you excuse me, I have a planet to rule. Prime Directive be damned.